Halloween Resurrection. What more can you say about this movie? Other than it's quality because Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks both have big roles in it. And you get to see Tyra Banks dance. So it's a great film. I'm not going to bore you guys and talk for 5 minutes about where this fits into the convoluted Halloween universe, like some people would. As you see, Snickers is here on my lap, helping me with the review. So we're not going to go into the whole Halloween universe, because none of you probably care. And I'll need a flow chart for it, which I obviously don't have. Yes, it is that convoluted. So instead, we're going to jump right in the movie. That starts with Laurie Strode, played, of course, by Jamie Lee Curtis, in a psychiatric hospital because she killed the wrong man at the end of H2O, and Michael Myers got away. Now, apparently at the psychiatric hospital, they just let the patients run around the hospital and go off grounds and do whatever they want. I don't think that's a good rule for a psychiatric hospital, but it might be. Let each their own. Let the psychos wander around. And then Michael Myers shows up, and Laurie fights him and almost kills him until she goes to rip the mask off him, see if he is who he says he is. And Michaels kills Laurie, and then hands his knife to this guy who is obsessed with serial killers. And that's when we get into the actual story of the movie about these college kids who are invited, who Dangertainment, expect a lot of bad writing like this. They say if you give enough monkeys enough time with typewriters, they'll write Shakespeare. I think this movie was wrote by like 2 or 3 monkeys with typewriters, and they wrote Halloween Resurrection. So Dangertainment has accepted these kids to spend the night in Michael Myers' house in a reality TV show. They're going to explore why Michael Myers is the way he is. I believe Dr. Loomis tried that. And then he tried to hide Michael Myers away from the world because he got too deep. Because Michael Myers was just pure evil, as he said. So we meet these kids, the one who wants to be a star, the one who seems like an average person and has no real personality, and the one who's a chef and blames everything on food. Why do you kill people? Food. Why does your poop stink? Food. Why did the terrorists blow up the Twin Towers? Food. I don't know what the terrorists ate to make them blow up Twin Towers, but it must have been some kind of food. Maybe they didn't like New York style pizza. And then we meet the other contestants. This guy who's obsessed with serial killers. This redhead who we can see naked for about 5 seconds. We can see her breasts. So you have to pause to see them. And I have not done that yet. So it's not that impressive. And the cocky guy. As I said, these are all stereotypes. And Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks are running this competition. And the normal girl talks to Deckard. Deckard is a freshman who claims he's an undergraduate, who helped her set up her computer system and the instant message. Now, in the real world, when you instant message, you type something and then you send it. In this world, when you instant message, you type and they read it as you type. It's some sort of futuristic instant messaging where your thoughts go directly into the person's brain. So they go to spend the night in Michael Myers' house. And it's kind of boring at first. Because they're just exploring, and the spices are fresh. They find a high chair with chains on it. They find some toys. Bill, the cocky guy, gets killed after feeling up the blonde as much as he can. And eventually, we see Michael Myers, followed by Michael Myers, which is revealed that the first Michael Myers is Kenny, who then goes off on the second Michael Myers, yelling at him and cursing at him. At which point, the second Michael Myers, who's the real Michael Myers, does what he's told. Now, I don't know if this is a normal thing with supernatural serial killers, that if you yell and curse at them enough, they do what they're told. If so, it should be in the next Jason movie. You just yell and curse at Jason enough, and he'll just go back to the woods to fuck his tree. So eventually, the redhead and the guy who's obsessed with serial killers go to make love. Well, it's not really making love; it's just kind of gratuitous sex, which doesn't happen because they knock a wall down, and there's a bunch of dead bodies that fall on them, which are made in Taiwan, which is the point where we realize it's all fake. And Kenny explains this after they knock him upside the head with a board so hard they effectively give him a concussion. At which point, the blonde dies shortly afterwards from the real Michael Myers. And then the redhead died earlier. At which point, the guy obsessed with serial killers dies. The chef dies after trying to fight Michael Myers. And the normal girl runs upstairs, calling on Deckard for help, who helps her get away from Michael Myers. At which point, Busta Rhymes is back and fights Michael Myers, because who else can fight Michael Myers but Busta Rhymes? And stand toe-to-toe due to his kung fu. So remember, kids, boxing may not work on supernatural serial killers, but kung fu does. Well, Busta Rhymes gets stabbed in the shoulder several times, but the girl gets away into the technical booth, where she starts a fire, and a small explosion happens, and both her and Michael are down. And then Michael gets up and is about to kill her when Busta Rhymes shows up again. Once again, fighting Michael Myers with his skills with kung fu. At which point, Michael knocks him back and is about to kill him when Busta Rhymes electrocutes Michael Myers, and Michael Myers dies, only to come back in the morgue with his eyes wide open. And we assume the normal girl goes on with her life, thus she probably ends up in a psych ward like Laurie Strode. And as for Dangertainment, it is the dangerous-tainment you've ever seen. Is this movie good? No, it's absolutely fucking terrible. Why the fuck did I watch this? I knew it was bad going in. It's the worst Halloween movie they ever made. I don't know why Jamie Lee Curtis did it. I don't know why any of the actors did it. I don't know why Busta Rhymes could go toe to toe with Michael Myers with Kung Fu. I don't. The script is terrible. The story is terrible. The acting is the acting isn't that bad, except by Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks. I mean, this movie is just awful. Don't watch this movie. Well, join me next week when we will look when October is over. So we're done with horror movies every week. So next week we will look at Natalya's farting gimmick in WWE and The Last Dinosaur.